Social media portrays a Ladakh bike trip as a breezy mountain cruise, but cross the state line and you hit a shaky, unforgiving reality. At 19,000 feet, you are operating in an environment that starves both internal combustion engines and human lungs of oxygen. This topographical map shows the massive altitude spikes of the Srinagar and Manali routes. You're asking your body to climb miles into the sky, and you have a narrow window. Passes thaw only between May and September before locking down completely. We skip romantic travel blogs to provide an objective logistical breakdown of how to execute this ride without major mechanical or physiological failure. Navigating Ladakh requires rigid logistical preparation. Without it, the freedom of the mountains disappears the moment something goes wrong. This matrix evaluates your two primary approach options, Manali versus Srinagar, scoring them on altitude, pavement quality, and time requirement. Focusing on the Manali side, the data shows a highly aggressive elevation curve. You hit punishing passes like Rohtang and Baralacha almost immediately. The trade-off is straightforward. You get dramatic, isolated landscapes right away, but your unacclimatized body takes a brutal beating while navigating notoriously harsh road surfaces. Now, look at the Srinagar side. The elevation curve is much flatter, offering a gradual ascent through waypoints like Kargil. This path is easier on your body, but it requires a longer time commitment and forces you to navigate a complex set of regional security checkpoints and permits. Regardless of the route, you will spend hours on narrow, crumbling cliff edges, sharing the space with heavy cargo trucks barreling down the mountain. Your initial route choice dictates how much physical suffering you endure in your first 48 hours and sets the hard timeline for the rest of your expedition. Once you have a route, you need to secure a reliable motorcycle. You can either ship your personal machine or rent one locally in Leh. Shipping your own bike to a staging city like Delhi gives you a massive advantage. You already know its maintenance history and exactly how it handles under heavy braking. But shipping involves steep freight costs, a high probability of transit damage, and you must service it yourself. This bar chart compares those upfront shipping costs against the alternative, flying to Leh and renting a bike for an average of 1,200 to 2,000 rupees a day. Renting saves transit time, but local rental fleets take a constant beating. There is a high risk of receiving a bike with a worn clutch or failing brakes. If you choose to rent, you must physically inspect the engine casings, the chain tension, and the tire tread before signing the agreement. Renting only saves time if you have the mechanical literacy to spot a liability before you take it up a 15,000-foot pass. These logistical challenges multiply if you decide to ride with a passenger. Adding a pillion drastically shifts your center of gravity backward. Technical maneuvers, especially navigating loose gravel or deep river crossings, become far more difficult to balance. Having your luggage capacity while doubling the payload makes a higher displacement engine an absolute necessity. Beyond the bike, the most critical physiological challenge of the entire trip is acute mountain sickness. This 14-day timeline illustrates a non-negotiable rule. Your first 48 hours in Leh must be blocked off for rest to let your body acclimatize to the altitude. Skipping this acclimatization window to save time is the primary reason riders end their trips early in local medical clinics. Ignoring your strict physiological limits and payload physics will derail the ride and put you in immediate danger. A standard trip averages between 35,000 and 70,000 rupees per couple, but success is determined by matching your specific profile to the right logistical plan. This rider readiness scorecard maps blueprints for 3 profiles. First-timers take the Srinagar route, rent locally, and allocate 12 days. Couples prioritize stability, rent a high-cc bike, and pre-book stays. DIY optimizers ship your bike, take the Manali route, and invest in auxiliary fuel and tools. That advanced preparation allows the DIY optimizer to confidently reach altitude markers like Kargil at over 18,000 feet. Locking into one of these specific profiles aligns your expectations with the physical reality of the mountains. The Himalayas demand absolute respect. They do not care about your itinerary, and they punish arrogance. A successful trip is not about how fast you ride or how many passes you cross. It is simply the one you ride back from safely. Meticulous logistical planning is the baseline requirement for safely navigating the vast scale of the Ladakh Desert.